YouTube? What is up? Welcome to the Radar for Rasslin Studios. We're live right now. Friday Night Smackdown just finished up. We have 3 takeaways from the show, setting up for Fastlane next week. Fastlane doesn't have the best build right now. It doesn't seem like the most exciting pay-per-view, but we're getting into it. It is what it is. Friday Night Smackdown. Edge is here. Daniel Bryan's here. Roman Reigns is here. The return of Big E after his attacks by Apollo Crews. So we get more of that, more build-up with the Sasha Bianca match. They're getting a tag team title match at Fastlane. They got their match at WrestleMania. We have a few things to get into, some interesting stuff going on this show. But let's get right into our 3 takeaways from Friday Night Smackdown. But first, I want to remind you guys, drop a like and a comment on here. What you guys thought of Smackdown? What you guys think of the whole storylines building up to Fastlane? I know a lot of people online are not fans of the Fastlane build or the WrestleMania build right now currently. They're not huge fans of how the way everything is turning out. WrestleMania's card seems kind of lackluster and kind of weak. Fastlane doesn't seem that exciting either. But what do you guys think of it going in general? What do you think of Daniel Bryan? What do you think about Edge? What do you think about Big E, Apollo? What do you think about Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, what you guys think about all that stuff. Remember to subscribe if you're not watching, and subscribe to the channel notification because little new videos drop. Make sure you follow me on social medias. Let's get into it. Friday Night Smackdown started off with Edge. Edge comes out. He's calling out Daniel Bryan for his tactics and how he's going about this whole thing. Now, the argument, Edge's argument is that Daniel Bryan lost fair and square. However it happened is however it happened. But he doesn't like the way he's going about it, getting the Fastlane match and all that. So he has a point there, but Daniel Bryan also has another point. You know, the fact that Roman took advantage of the spot, and that's the way it worked out. So he deserves to get his one-on-one opportunity fresh, not just beat up after a long chamber match. Both guys have solid arguments. It was a solid segment to start off the show. Both two guys heated at each other. So maybe this could lead to something else, depending on what happens at WrestleMania, maybe something afterwards, or maybe a matches leading up to WrestleMania between Fastlane and WrestleMania. We could see that going forward. But yeah, this is some interesting stuff going here. You know, the match needs to happen. Reigns Edge obviously at WrestleMania. So Daniel Bryan has no shot whatsoever winning this title. They could make it a triple threat. I'm not sure how they want to go about it, but they both have 2 similar storylines. Edge, Daniel Bryan forced to retire, come back, big time stories there. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I still think it's going to be Reigns Edge, and I think Daniel Bryan is just going to be a little stopgap in between. Don't know what he has planned for WrestleMania, but we'll see going forward. Then I don't think he has any shot whatsoever of winning at Fastlane. Next thing, the show with the Street Profits and the Mysterios taking on Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Alpha Academy. These are like the main tag teams on SmackDown, the only tag teams pretty much they have, so they have them all bunched up in a match. There's no setup right now as to who's going to face who at Fastlane or at WrestleMania. I'm assuming all 4 tag teams will be in a match at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. Street Profits, Mysterios get the win here. Not much to talk about after that. It is what it is. It was a solid matchup. A lot of guys in the ring, but I think all these teams will be bunched up into a multi-person, multi-team match at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You know they love doing that. They've done it years in a row already, so we'll continue to see that. The Raw, there's only have like 2 tag teams on Raw, so honestly, not much there to talk about. But SmackDown has a couple more, not many, but a couple more, and they'll probably do the multi-man tag, match for those SmackDown Tag Team titles. However, that may work out good. It may not. We'll see what happens. Yesterday on the show, Cesaro versus Murphy. It's a rematch from last week. Murphy being thrown in there. Murphy got destroyed in this match, but it was disqualification because Seth Rollins got involved. Seems like Murphy and Seth Rollins may get back together and create the team again. We'll see what happens. But this happened. Seth Rollins gets in the ring, attacks the living hell out of Cesaro. This is takeaway number 1 of the night.
And meanwhile, officials down the ring preventing further damage.
Of the night. You see behind me, Seth Rollins attacking Cesaro, beating living hell, stomps him twice, puts the chair on his head, and is going to stomp him with the chair on his head to kind of end everything. He gets stopped by Jamie Noble and referees. They stop breaking up. So obviously this match is going to happen at WrestleMania, but the interesting thing about this was that after Rollins left, he gets confronted by Shinsuke Nakamura in the gorilla position backstage, and they just stare at each other, and then Rollins walks away. So will Nakamura jump in and take Rollins on at Fastlane before he gets the match against Cesaro? Be interesting. They could also do tag matches. That's maybe why they want to bring Murphy back together with Rollins, so they could do tag matches, Shinsuke and Cesaro versus Rollins and Murphy, to kind of bridge the gap between Fastlane and WrestleMania. But it looks like Fastlane will probably be either a tag match or straight up Nakamura versus Rollins. So it should be solid matchups all around. Excited to see Nakamura actually doing something again, because he, after losing those matches that he had for the Intercontinental Championship, he just hasn't been around that much. So now he's back in the fold, going to face with Seth Rollins. So we'll see what ends up happening. You never know. Maybe Shinsuke turns on Cesaro, joins Rollins and Murphy's. We could see that happening as well. But Nakamura's WrestleMania match doesn't really seem like it's set in stone, or he really has much to do on the show right now. So this may be throwing him in there, creates a tag opportunity for at least Fastlane. and leading up to WrestleMania, and we'll see what happens going forward with that. But guys, that's the first takeaway of the show. Rollins attacking Cesaro, Nakamura being thrown into this mix. So we'll see what happens going forward. It's Cesaro's biggest match he's probably ever had, or he will ever have, most likely, at WrestleMania. So Cesaro, Rollins, what we're getting. I'm excited for it. It's the best thing you could hope for Cesaro right now, because he's been in the company such a long time, never been really featured too much, so it's the best thing you could hope for. Next thing on the show was the KO show with Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. Obviously, they're hyping up the match that at Fastlane, they have a tag team title match. They can go into WrestleMania as the tag champs to face each other at WrestleMania for the women's championship. All good and well, I guess. There's not much of a feud between them. It's just two baby faces. They respect each other. Even though Sasha acts more like a heel, she should technically be a heel, but she's not. Whatever. They get interrupted by Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax with Reginald. Before this, you would see Reginald in a shopping spree with Nia Jax, trying on all these suits, and Nia Jax, all lovey-dovey with him. Obviously, he's playing him to set him up to create to drive the wedge between Bianca and Sasha, so they retain their titles at Fastlane. So that's obviously the whole thing about it. But I thought the little video package was kind of corny. Was what it was. I like how he goes to a suit store where everything's taking suits off the rack and they're already fitted, capried out, just like the way he likes to wear it, extremely fitted, which is not realistic, but whatever. They come out, they have their beef, and then they get interrupted by Tamina and Natalya, because they're gonna have a tag team match, Tamina and Natalya versus Bianca and Sasha. In the end, Tamina and Natalya win. Tamina pins Bianca due to distraction by Reginald, causing Sasha Banks to get knocked out, and that causes the rift between them. So I don't like the story. I don't like it, honestly. You're placing Reginald as the wedge that's gonna create tension between two competitors in Bianca and Sasha for a match at WrestleMania. Sasha should not be a babyface right now. She's playing it like a heel, but she's not technically a heel. Two babyfaces going at it WrestleMania tends to not work that well. For the most part in past history, it hasn't really come off that well. So I think them just trying to have Reginald be thrown in there as the wedge, I don't really like it. I don't know what their fascination is with having Reginald all over television. He doesn't have any matches. I don't think he has enough experience in the ring to have matches, so he's just kind of there. He's being used as like a toy in the whole storyline. Now you got Baszler and Jax dealing with him, walking him around. He'll get involved in the Fastlane match. I don't see them winning the tag team titles, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's really all not that great, but it continues on. Next thing on the show, we had Big E come out, and this is takeaway number 2. Big E comes out, makes his return. He's all bandaged up, takes it all off as he comes out, all the bandages and braces, and he cuts an impassioned promo, a really good one. He flubbed his words a little bit, but I think it came off as more real because of how angry and how adamant he was and the emotion he was showing. Normally you would do that, you would flub your words a lot because you just can't handle yourself, the emotion that you're feeling and the anger and the angst that you're feeling at the moment. So I thought that it was a tremendous promo, really was. He gets interrupted by King Corbin and then by Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn gets a match then for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E gets the win. He gets attacked by Apollo Crews after this. Dropped down, dropped again, and then he gets the steel steps thrown, hit on his shoulder and against his arm. That's obviously just a little injured.
No, don't do this, Apollo. Oh my God.
Injured. And then Apollo stands tall in the ring. But I did like the fact that he had a really good segment to really make it serious and not have it be so jokey, like typical Big E, dancing and stuff like that, having fun. Just a little bit more serious, a little more grounded, well done, but very, very passionate promo by him. And the matchup between Apollo and Big E probably happening at WrestleMania. If it's not a multi-man match, it'll be a singles. I'm really excited for it. I think it's a really good story. I think it's being well done. I think it's a great opportunity for Apollo to continue his heel run and his new heel persona. I think it's great for him. Obviously, it'll continue to establish Big E as a single star, eventually making his run towards the title eventually. This is obviously him in the mid-card and then building his credentials more and more, going to a championship opportunity later on. So really awesome stuff from Big E and from Apollo, and that's takeaway number 2. The fact Big E's promo and Apollo attacking him, it's all working good. It's all really well done, and I'm enjoying it really, really well. Next thing on the show, we have Edge backstage. He's talking to Jey Uso, trying to knock some sense into him because it seems like Roman is mad at Jey and Jey's just taking it all like a punk. So he tries to snap Jey out of it. Jey's not having it. So I think they're setting the seeds for something here. Now, we have the contract signing between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Obviously, Roman Reigns comes into his contract signings kind of the same way all the time. Very just sit back and he's running the whole show. But Daniel Bryan talks a lot of trash here, gets it gets Reigns really adamant and animated here, and then has Reigns sign the contract. Then you have Jey Uso get upset at Daniel Bryan for continuously taking shots at him. So he says to Adam Pearce, obviously Adam Pearce on here because he always has to be on every show. He has him on here. He says, make me the special enforcer for the Fastlane match. Obviously, like, you know, trying to set it up so, you know, stacked against Daniel Bryan in the end. But then Edge interferes. He says, let's have a match between Jey and myself, Edge, next week. See, winner gets to become the special enforcer for the match at Fastlane. Then a big brawl breaks out. Now, you have Edge and Daniel Bryan getting physical. After you have Roman and Jey getting thrown out by these two guys, you have Daniel Bryan hitting the knee, and this is takeaway number 3 of the night.
Set to the outside, Bryan now joining the fray. And Edge tossing Bryan out of the way. And now Daniel Bryan with a running knee. Edge is down.
And you see the knee from Daniel Bryan on Edge, knocks him out. He stands tall in the end. But I think they're setting the seeds for Jey maybe betraying Roman at Fastlane if he is the special enforcer. I think that might happen, or maybe, you know, Jey doesn't work to Roman's liking, so Roman beats the living hell out of him. That's the end of that. I think that's what they're leading to, or maybe setting the seeds for that, maybe costing, you know, Reigns the match at WrestleMania or something like that. I think Jey's gonna play an integral part in this whole storyline. He's gonna end up turning, I think, on Roman, or maybe Jimmy comes back eventually, which I've been hoping for a while, to make the three-person team there. If that doesn't happen, I think Jey's gonna eventually turn. I think they're setting up the turn. I think the fact that he's constantly throwing himself in there and failing, and now he becoming the special enforcer, he may fail again, or he just may turn on Reigns at that spot, maybe after the match or, you know, during the match. I don't think Bryan's gonna come out with the championship, so it kind of throws a little wrench into that, but I do think that Jey's eventually going to turn on Roman, and I think it may happen sooner rather than later. But you have Edge, you have Daniel Bryan having issues with each other because they both are in the same similar kind of spot. I think it's going to lead to maybe a couple tag matches going forward. It's good to see Edge, though. He's going to face Jey Uso next week, so we'll see who wins that match next week and who becomes special enforcer. But I think it's going to play a big role in that match and who comes out on top, and then how the storyline progresses there forward, and how you get Daniel Bryan out of the picture to set up the WrestleMania match, and what Daniel Bryan may be doing. Maybe Daniel Bryan takes on Jey Uso at WrestleMania. We could see that. So there's a couple ways they can go about it. But that's takeaway number 3. This storyline continues to go forward. It continues to move on, and we'll see what happens. But guys, that's the review for Smackdown. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of the way Smackdown ended. Do you think Jey Uso was going to turn? Do you think it's going to be Jey versus Bryan at WrestleMania? What do you think is going to go down at WrestleMania going forward in that Fastlane? Who's going to be the special enforcer? What in your guys' mind? What do you guys think? Did you enjoy Big E's promo? Did you enjoy Apollo Crews at the end? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. That's the review. Thanks for watching. Remember, for this more, not to the job.